From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Sanctuary City victory. We take you to the Capitol where some Arizonans celebrated this morning as the political push to ban sanctuary cities came to an end.
The word I use over and over again is empathy. And I think it's very hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes if you don't know anything about their feet.
Plus, should the Holocaust be taught in Arizona schools? Some local lawmakers say no. It's your chance to weigh in.
And a winter storm is on the East Coast and moving west, upping our chances for rain in the valley this weekend.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Jordan Elder.
And I'm Jose Solis. Thank you for joining us.
The effort to create a ban on sanctuary cities in Arizona is over.
Two measures would have prevented local governments from declaring themselves sanctuary cities and refusing to cooperate with law enforcement when it comes to determining immigration status.
Cronkite News reporter Madison Atkinson attended the celebration outside the Capitol this morning. Madison?
The House and Senate concurrent resolutions proposed amending the Arizona Constitution, but last night the governor's office confirmed that after discussing it with legislative leaders, the decision was made to stop moving forward with the resolutions. Dozens of Arizonans gathered outside the state capitol to celebrate the anti-sanctuary victory.
This is an amazing victory. 10 years ago, we were sitting here at this lawn, and we said, SB 1070 was going to be the end of divisive anti-immigrant legislation.
But part of SB 1070 is still in effect, and it prohibits cities from declaring themselves sanctuary cities. Governor Doug Ducey called for a constitutional amendment in his State of the State address last month.
If anyone needed a reminder that here in Arizona, we respect the rule of law, last fall, the voters of Tucson demonstrated that loud and clear. There, in our state's second largest city, a troubling proposal to defy federal law was soundly and overwhelmingly rejected by Democrats and Republicans alike. It wasn't even close. And now it's time for all Arizonans to make their voices heard and enshrine it in our Constitution. TJ Shope has the ballot referral. This November, let's give all Arizona voters the opportunity to say yes to the rule of law and no to sanctuary cities.
Several community advocacy groups started working together a month ago to remove the sanctuary bills from the legislative agenda.
We started working on it because we knew that it was really damaging to the state of Arizona and could really create a lot of negative impact for the residents of Arizona and the state as a whole.
At the end of the day, these type of referrals or bills, what they do is divide our community and impact our economy. And we're here because these are not going to be moving forward, but we remain vigilant because everything can happen here at the state legislature. So I know that we've had wins, but we're also vigilant.
If the House and Senate had passed the resolution, it would have gone on the ballot for voters to have the final say. In the broadcast center, Madison Atkinson, Cronkite News.
Phoenix is one of 8 cities that accounted for 3/4 of methamphetamine busts in 2019. To combat the growing problem, the DEA is launching Operation Crystal Shield to boost resources. Meth seizures in the valley rose 78% last year over 2018. And from 2017 to 2019, domestic seizures increased 127%. During the same time frame, the number of DEA arrests related to meth went up nearly 20%. We've also learned today that the Attorney General obtained an injunction to block a vaping company from selling its products in Arizona. Mark Bernovich sued Eon Smoke and Juul last month, claiming they violated state consumer fraud laws and targeted youth with flavored cartridges. The preliminary injunction also orders Eon Smoke to remove all its vaping cartridges up for sale in the state.
Last week, we saw Senator Martha McSally's attack ad against her rival Mark Kelly. And today, he's come out with his own ad, but he's taking a different approach. Take a look.
I was not always a good student. Like a lot of young kids, I had a hard time paying attention. I said to my dad, I thought I would go to college. And he said, really? You? And it was the big wake-up call for me.
Kelly goes on to say his family lived comfortably off a middle-class income, but nowadays it's not as easy, so he hopes to change that. More campaign ads are likely to come out leading up to the November ballot.
A winter storm is hitting the East Coast hard this week. It will soon impact weather here in Arizona. This video out of North Carolina shows the level of severity the storm brings. Annabella Piunti is now standing by with a look at the rising rain chances headed our way this weekend. What you got, Annabella?
Looking at all that snow makes me thankful that we are just going to be getting rain here in Arizona. That rain is going to start early tomorrow morning, continue all the way through tomorrow. And then right now we're looking at Sunday afternoon. Up north, we're going to see about 1.3 inches of rain in Flagstaff, 0.2 inches in Prescott, 0.8 inches in Phoenix, and 1.3 inches in Tucson. And of course, with rain comes floods. Here is your flash flood alert. We're just looking at a watch here in the center of this state that will mainly affect Phoenix, Casa Grande, Payson, Globe, and Safford.
The former water source for an Arizona prison tested positive for petroleum. The issue was brought up 4 months ago when inmates at Douglas Prison told their families the water smelled like diesel fuel and caused skin rashes. The prisoners also complained about the brown water, saying it smelled and tasted like petroleum. An investigation is underway now to determine the source. Right now, Arizona lawmakers are considering making it a requirement to teach the Holocaust and other genocides in Arizona schools.
Cronkite News reporter Jamie Landers explains why supporters of the bill say the horrors of the past should lead to lessons for today's generation. Jamie?
I spoke with Holocaust survivors, teachers, and students who say while education surrounding genocides may be painful and emotional, it just might be the key to preventing the next one. Oscar Knobloch was 8 years old when World War II began. By the time he turned 14, Nazis had invaded his town in Krakow, Poland. Knobloch is Jewish. His war had just begun.
They would come regular, once a month. They would take and have deportations. Part of the street in the ghetto would be blocked off with soldiers, with trucks, with dogs, and everybody on that street would disappear. Whether you worked or not, you would grabbed and it would send you to the station and you would end up on a train and you'll be gone forever.
For 2 years, he survived in the Krakow ghetto. He was forced to work, emptying garbage cans into a wagon driven by a Polish farmer, all the while burdened under the weight of German rule.
If you kill one German, the Germans will turn around and kill 100 of you. If you injure one, they'll kill 50 of you.
Knobloch survived the genocide of 6 million Jews. His father did not. He shares his stories with Arizona students, conducting voluntary lessons in the classroom for 15 years. Now, Knobloch joins others who say it's time for state law.
I want to change the world. Now, how do you change the world? You start with young people's minds.
House Bill 2682 would require the Holocaust and other genocides to be taught at least twice between 7th and 12th grades. Advocates cite a national report that shows knowledge of the Holocaust is waning. A survey conducted by the Claims Conference found that 1 in 5 millennials has not heard of the Holocaust. Deer Valley teacher John David Bowman is also working with students to change that.
Homogeneity, I think, is dangerous. And so the idea that kids learn about the positive, the negative of all of these different events in world history, I think is really important.
Whether he is teaching the Holocaust or the Rohingya genocide, Bowman tries to spark one action.
The word I use over and over again is empathy. And I think it's very hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes if you don't know anything about their feet.
His students have taken that message to heart, saying empathy could prevent genocides.
So I believe schools have focused a lot more on statistics than a lot of the more personal stories that make the Holocaust the way that it should be portrayed in schools. They'll tell you how many people have died or whatever, but they won't say they won't give you any specifics. So I believe it is important that we learn more about it, because the fact that they keep on happening again means that it's still a problem.
If you do make it broader, I think it's going to make you better understand not only the Holocaust, but genocides everywhere.
Knobloch says teachers like Bowman are creating what he calls upstanders, people who step in to help, even when that isn't easy.
So what did you do with your hate, they ask me. And that's when I bring out a smile. And I said, I kicked it out of my vocabulary. It does not exist there. I've replaced it with respect, love, and tolerance.
Knobloch is 94 years old. After sharing his story hundreds of times and watching with hope as a genocide education bill makes its way through the legislature, he finally feels comfortable stepping away. His days of Holocaust presentations are at an end. In the studio, Jamie Landers, Cronkite News.
So we want to know what you think now. Should the Holocaust and other genocides be taught in Arizona schools? Why or why not? So far, all of you have said yes.
Kirby writes, yes, definitely. We need never to lose sight of the fact that all human beings are the same and deserve respect. And we need to teach all people about the horrors of things like the Holocaust and genocide and the hatred that causes them.
Cheryl says it absolutely should be. I wasn't aware that it wasn't being taught.
And Robert summed it up with, those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
It's not too late to join the conversation. Just go to our Cronkite News Facebook and Twitter feeds to weigh in.
Coming up next on Cronkite News at 5, coronavirus concerns.
Why global air traffic could fall this year for the first time in a decade because of the outbreak.
And oral health is a crisis for many Native children in Arizona. We'll explore the rising rates of tooth decay in kids and show you how one tribe is trying to help them.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
So would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Welcome back. The coronavirus is impacting the global airline industry's bottom line. The International Air Transport Authority warns airlines could lose more than $29 billion, with Asian carriers bearing the brunt of that. The outbreak will likely reduce air traffic by 4.7%, marking the first overall decline in demand in more than a decade. The coronavirus has killed more than 2,000 people, most of them in mainland China. Because of that, dozens of airlines have canceled or reduced services to the country.
February is National Children's Dental Health Month. Many don't know this, but tooth decay is the #1 chronic disease that children face in the U.S.
Nationally, about 32% of all children have a history with tooth decay, with a disproportionate 87% of Native American children facing tooth decay nationwide.
Reporter Madison LaBerge traveled to eastern Arizona to see how one Native American tribe is trying to address children's dental needs.
Over 100 miles away from the capital of Arizona lies the San Carlos Apache Reservation. The town of San Carlos rests on the border of both the Gila and Graham counties. It's a modest town of less than 5,000 people. However, an average of 59% of kindergartners have had experience with tooth decay. That's 7% higher than the average in Arizona and 27% higher than the national average.
A lot of people are afraid to come. A lot. They won't bring their children, and then the children are afraid, that the parents are afraid, the kids are going to be afraid.
That fear of, some dentistry practices was something that was kind of like historical trauma, and it kind of went into children.
Historical trauma is just one of the many challenges Native Americans face when going to the dentist. However, in San Carlos, the Apache tribe is trying to change that.
We decorate the place, and we spend most of the day bringing Head Start children, the community members, and let them go through and see the dental department in an environment that is a fun environment rather than a stressful. Most people don't like going to the dentist, so we try to get them to see the dentist's office in a different light and enjoy that.
Can we brush your teeth? Close to 300 students and community members came out to this dental clinic for their second annual Children's Oral Health Month event. Now, they were given visual screenings and fluoride varnish treatments here, but the care doesn't stop at just this event. Haney says that the San Carlos Apache healthcare team really cares about their patients, something she says she didn't receive growing up.
Well, back then it was so different because it was like in the 70s, you know. And the treatment wasn't that great. I mean, it made you afraid to go to the dentist.
In 2015, through Public Law 638, the tribe took over health care for their members.
In less than 5 years, we've over doubled the services that we offer.
Good job. So now they're not afraid to come to the dentist. You know, I used to have to go in the back with them. Now they just walk back there. So it's a good thing for the people here.
The tribe has recently implemented the Strong Teeth, Strong Kid campaign, created by Native American Connections. The campaign focuses on Smilestones, or Smile Milestones. Kevin Russell, who helped design the campaign, says there aren't a lot of health campaigns that target Native Americans.
There's a huge value for strength in most Native cultures, and hence the Strong Teeth, Strong Kid.
The campaign focuses on education, so parents know when to bring their children to the dentist to help prevent tooth decay early on.
It's going to take time, but we've made some strides already. There's a lot of kids out there now that have, that have all their work done that in the past would not have gotten that done. And so
in San Carlos, Madison LaBerge, Cronkite News.
Both the chief of dental program in San Carlos and the former executive director of the Arizona Dental Association told Madison parents should be bringing their children into the dentist when they see that first tooth.
By taking this first step, parents can learn how to take care of their children's teeth and start receiving preventative care so that the chances of tooth decay begin to drop.
When we come back, the roads you'll want to avoid this weekend as ADOT warns of several freeway closures. Stick around.
The weather around Phoenix is just beautiful today. Let's take a look at the weather around the valley.
Thank you for joining us for the special edition of Cronkite News. Here are the top stories that we're tracking today at noon.
Some of the best players for their program.
Drivers beware. There are a number of freeway closures happening this weekend, so be prepared to add some cushion to your travel time. The closures are part of ADOT's ongoing improvement projects and will affect parts of the I-10, I-17, Loops 101, 202, and 303. The improvement projects include bridge removal and pavement upgrades. The closures begin today and will stay in place until Monday morning. For a complete list of road restrictions, go to adot.gov. And I'm sure the rain is going to have an effect on traffic as well.
Oh, there's no doubt. The rain is going to start early tomorrow morning, but I'm sure that the temperatures are going to start dropping tonight to prepare for that. So definitely grab an umbrella, maybe a rain jacket if you're going out anytime this weekend. Looking at our current temperatures in Phoenix, it is 73 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you look behind me, this is the I-10 in Litchfield. Traffic is pretty light, but I'm sure you could expect that to pick up as we move into the rush hour. Looking into your evening, pretty nice evening tonight. Look at those temperatures, nothing too cold. We have 74 degrees at 6 o'clock p.m., 70 degrees at 8 o'clock p.m., and 68 degrees at 10 o'clock p.m. Definitely a good idea to try to spend some time outside before the rain starts tomorrow. Our low temperatures for tomorrow throughout the state: up north, low of 27 degrees in Flagstaff, 34 in Sedona, 50 in Phoenix, and 44 in Tucson. And your 8-day forecast, looking at this evening, like I said, look at Saturday, 100% chance of rain with only a high of 66 degrees. Sunday, 10% chance of rain, high of 65 degrees. And then looking at next week, we have a high of 71 degrees Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a high of 79 degrees on Thursday, and 82 degrees on Friday and Saturday. So it might be a little bit chilly and rainy this weekend, but it definitely looks like we have some nice weather to look forward to for next weekend. In the Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Annabella Punti. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Annabella. I will get my umbrella ready, most definitely. After the break, we'll give you an inside look at an athletic camp in California for lesbians.
We'll show you how the Lezathlon is giving women a chance to reclaim moments from their childhood while also giving back to LGBTQ youth.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
For many LGBT citizens, it's hard to find welcoming social events in their own city, inspiring some to go out and create a space of their own.
Erica Morris takes us to Lake Hughes, California, and the largest lesbian sporting event in the world.
Good morning, get up, get up, get up.
This isn't your typical summer camp.
We've got an obstacle course, we've got tug of war, we do wheelbarrow races, we do potato sack races. I mean, the sports are pretty epic.
This is Lezathlon, a camp for women who like women.
I just had wanted to play some park games with friends, maybe watch a few lesbians do push-ups.
But this event became much more.
It was something in our community that maybe there was a hole or this market for this thing that we really wanted to do, hang out outside with each other and play stupid games and be kind of silly.
A weekend that's filled with competition featuring teams and spectators, giving women like Nicole Upshaw, who traveled from Chandler, Arizona, an outlet to compete.
We heard about it through a friend of a friend. Sounded like a ton of fun, just a bunch of like-minded people hanging out, being athletic.
Yeah. Until this year, I really hadn't had much exposure to the LGBT community. Putting us on teams and kind of having us going head-to-head at all kinds of different activities and giving us chances to shine brightly in different areas has been really fun.
Fun until the games actually begin.
We beat our arch rivals, the soccer base. I'm really pleased about that.
We're coming for the title next year, 100%.
Yeah, next year.
We got gypped. We got gypped this year.
But yeah.
We're quite angry.
While tensions can run high during the games,
we've got prom parties.
One nostalgic night gave women the chance to reclaim a moment from their childhood.
When I was a teenager, my father used to yell at my sisters to stop wearing their skirts so short and wear less makeup. He was yelling at me to please wear a skirt and please wear some makeup. And it wasn't until late in life that I discovered myself as beautiful, for that I even learned to put on makeup and like the way that I look at it. Not that that's true for every woman. You got to rock your look, whether it's natural, whether it's butch or femme. But for me, it's a celebration of me blooming. I'm 55 years old, and this is the first time in my life that I can say I've never felt more beautiful, ever. It really felt good to like throw on a ton of pearls and a dress and just go rock whoever I am, and whatever happens is going to be good.
Another goal of Lesathlon is to give back. This year, proceeds for the event go to Brave Trails, a youth LGBTQ camp.
How awesome would that have been to have as a kid like this awesome safe space where, you know, there's no judgments and there's no one gossiping about you and there's no one there that's going to make you feel uncomfortable or kind of feel bad about who you're developing into and, you know, who you're figuring out you want to be.
A mission fostered by the older and younger women each year.
I love that it really is a safe place for all women. The mix of younger and older lesbians has been really fun.
A lot of people are still kind of coming into their own identities in their 20s and 30s and 40s or older, and everyone has gone through different things in their lives and has gone on a different journey in terms of finding out who they are and who they want to be. And so I think that just giving people a space to explore that and express that is really important.
And that's what this camp aims to provide.
I hope people leave camp with the sense of community and a feeling like they just went through something really special with other like-minded people, and maybe they have some friends for life.
In Lake Hughes, California, Erica Morris, Cronkite News.
Organizers are still planning where next year's summer camp will be held.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS.
Here's what's coming up next on Arizona Horizon.
On the next Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. How much did President Trump's rally in Phoenix help or hurt Senator Martha McSally? And another week, another ethics complaint filed against state lawmakers. It's on the Journalists Roundtable.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good night, everyone.